Sadaqat is working and supporting with a range of schools, as well as, of course, runs and teaches at TIS, the Masters in EdTech. And hopefully here we'll be sharing some of the challenges that the school is facing and some of the proposed solutions also. So Sadaqat, please take it forward.
Thank you so much, Radhika. I think when we discuss about distance, virtual, online learning, all of them sort of become synonymous. There are two facets to it. One is the T factor and the other is P factor, I call. So I'll briefly touch about it. I'll go as we at the Tata Institute of Social Sciences have been working with more than 500 schools across India, across geographies, and at different levels of infrastructure availability. And more than, since last 4 years, we have been working in capacity building of more than 2,000 teachers in EdTech, particularly in public sector. Yeah, go to next. Okay, so in the T factor, as we heard, Harmik also said, Mario also was saying, it's about technology. So for online learning, for virtual learning, there is essentially a need for having infrastructure. Generally, an LMS, some kind of technology-enabled educational resources, and some tools for synchronous, asynchronous models of engagement is needed for virtual learning. And in detail, Mario also showed there's a lot of resources curated as well, and there's a lot of experiences have been shared by Rohit and others. So that is the T factor, but I will focus on the P factor. Next, please. Which is about pedagogy and the practice factor. So I think before finalizing or before jumping on adopting a technology, I think it's very crucial that we remind ourselves, no matter in which conditions are we, our own pedagogical principles and practices, which are driven by certain value base, and then choose what kind of technologies enable us to fulfill these practices. So I would say the P factor is an a priori to the T factor. And within P factor, I think there are two strategies and decisions that we need to make. One is, how do we adopt and cultivate inclusive practices, especially when we are discussing today about children with special needs. This becomes all the more important. And the second is, there is no one solution that can fit for all. So we all need to come up with unique solutions, models. How do we engage with students and teachers and the community in the suited to our own context? As part of the this education response, we actually had taken up quite a few initiatives, and one of that was to have ground assessment. And in that, we came across that many teachers and students we surveyed and discussed what kind of challenges that they're facing. So access is still a great challenge. So while planning strategy for online virtual distance learning, I think the access is, we need to take care of and know where do we stand in terms of access. And absolutely the accessibility. And we all know what it is. So UDL principles, and how do we make sure that the tools and technologies that we are using are accessible for all learners, and they also become inclusive. Just access will not ensure accessibility. The resources also needs to be accessible, following the universal design principles. And when coming up with, I was really, it was really fascinating to hear, Rohit, how children in the very resource constrained context are being engaged through WhatsApp or very low tech solutions. So I think it should be low threshold, high ceiling. So what is called as LTCH. So low threshold, high ceiling. The threshold should be very low so that they can cater to the minimal uh, level, but then it also contains sufficient sophistication for all learners. So affordability is, I think, very important, which many of the previous panelists have mentioned about. Uh, so how do we support models of home and distance learning? And then sustainability is, I think, very, very crucial. Mario was talking about uh, being aware of the free. So I completely agree for that. So sustainability is very key. Can you please go to the next? Yeah. So this is, I think, I pause here and emphasize that beware of technological traps. Okay, and this I am telling you uh, as I lead technology front at the Center for Education Innovation and Action Research. At this, in and we have a host of websites. We have our own data center. We have applications running on cloud. We have our own technology team, so on and so forth. So beware of investment. We take informed decisions about how much resources that you want to invest into. Like Mario said, everything which is free is not free. I would say that you become aware of free and open source software and take informed decisions. And even with the FOSS, free and open source software, there are questions that will continue to linger about longevity and sustainability. So take informed decisions and do not get trapped in technological things. So can I just quickly cover what currently some more things that we're doing at
Yeah.
this?
Sadaqat, we're at 7 minutes now, so another 3 minutes and then you can.
Sure, perfectly. So I have only one, I think last slide, majorly. Yeah. So in since April, actually, we started what is called as TIS School initiative, Connected Open Online Learning. We were quite fortunate that we had a huge infrastructure. We have hundreds of teachers as part of virtual COPs, communities of practices. And so as part of the CLIx, actually in last 4 years, we reached to 500 schools and the teachers within that, etc., etc. So we thought we should share our experiences and also put out the resources that we have, as well as provide some more resources that are that can be contextualizable to Indian schools, particularly in public school sector. So we ventured with 5 major work areas on the ground assessment and resources for teacher education. So we curated a lot of resources that are aligned to NCT curriculum that are available online freely and are being continuously released almost on weekly basis. And then we started multilingual webinars as part of the CLIx and IT integrated technology in education. One of our project for West Bengal, Assam, and Bihar students, and we had huge, tremendous participation from government schools, students, and teachers. So all of them have been recorded and are available to look for. And then we thought to create a one-stop a micro course to cover some basics about what is online learning, synchronous, asynchronous models, OERs, how to go about assessment, etc., which is available as technologies for online learning in school education. It's a micro course available on this link, bit.ly/this-cool. And then also we all created a slew of resources as form of OER repository, and we wanted accessibility to be one important review criteria. Those also can be referred. at the university level, also we started a lot of putting in place mechanisms, which I think I can skip. In the next slide, I have put up some useful links, but I'd like to end with one suggestion that I was searching a lot about a repository or a page, a website, or etc., where one can find accessible open education resources or accessible educational resources which are which can be integrated in Indian schools. So I think this is a gap that is there, and Gateway and we all can help Gateway to come up with and fill the gap basically. So over to you, Radhika and others. And thank you so much for